Right, so let's just jump straight back into this new episode. So obviously you see it last time, it was left like this basically, and this is the slowest part now, just buttoning everything up, getting all the water hoses and everything back on, all the biggest stuff's done. So you see the manifold here was obviously touching, the studs were obviously touching the manifold, and we've got to address that. So just going to shorten down them studs quickly, going to start getting, we've got a thermostat housing coming in, got to get that auxiliary belt on and just start buttoning things up. So let's get straight into it. So instead of cutting these studs down, we've got some new ones, so a little bit shorter. You can see here, obviously they ain't got the end with the Torx bit, so you have to put them on double nutted, but a little bit shorter, about a centimetre shorter, so that should give us the clearance. Going to get them in, have a look. So with these studs, we're going to use the double nut trick. If you don't know that, you just literally lock two nuts together. Obviously in this case it's an M8, two M8 nuts together, and then you can literally just ratchet them on with a socket. So obviously these have got Torx ends on it, makes it a little bit easier. These haven't. So unfortunately this one still touches, just touches there, you can see. So I'm just going to shave a little bit off of that so we can get a locking nut on there. And there we go, here turns up another project, another Mk1 Escort. This is the one I was talking about in the last video. No axles, nothing, bare shell, just come over from Ireland. Going to dump an engine, try and get this in it for retro rides. You can see how cool it looks with the livery on it. So just give you a little quick look around this. First time we've seen it as well. It's actually a proper bare shell, but I think it's in really cool colours, all stickered up. It's just been rallied over in Ireland, literally just come over. I think the plan with this one is just to leave the patina, leave the race car look that's on it at the minute, and just slap it together, get some running gear in it, some mint running gear, axles, and take it like that, because it's got the history behind it of being raced. It's got the patina, obviously it's a bit of rough shape, but nothing can't be sorted. So this is an ex-rally car from Ireland. For some reason the roll cage has been cut out of it, which is quite strange. Should have had the roll cage still in it. You can see it's sort of been cut out here. The race car kind of holds it in place if it's had a lot of damage over the years. So thermostat housing's just turned up, so they turn up actually in 3 different sections. So you've got here the actual thermostat itself, you can replace that independently, but we just went for the whole housing. You can see we've got Circoli products as well, with one of the best makes, aftermarket makes, if you ain't going to go OEM. You've got the seal in there, so that's going to sit on there fresh. Don't get bolts with it, but you get this other section of the housing. It's like another separate section. Lucky they had all this in stock today, so we've got this ready to go. You can see it's sort of like the part that bolts on there. So we're going to get this together, bolt this all together. So one has in there, you can see is actually 3 different parts. So on the turbo cars, they have this extra housing here for the water feed for the turbos. You can see it's got a seal on the back of it, and then you've got the seal on this plastic housing. Obviously some sort of afterthought, but you can see here obviously you have the extra long bolts that go onto it, so I'm going to get that whole complete unit on. So as I said in the previous video, just in the process at the minute of tapping out this exhaust housing on this turbo, as you can see I'm doing it to M10 by 1.5. Bit tough because obviously it's hardened cast, so just getting through it at the minute. You can see done 1 already, you're going to do the other 3, then we'll be able to get some studs and nuts in there, and it's going to lock that down a lot better, stop that gasket blowing out. One of the reasons that them gaskets blow out is just because they ain't clamped down tight enough. Right, so I just restudied this exhaust housing. You can see here they're slightly a little bit too long still. They catch on the manifold itself, which is quite annoying, so I'm going to have to cut them down. Just going to get them in nice and tight there, cut them down, and we have to get some locking nuts on them. The turbo cleaned up nice as well. So we're getting this thing rolling. So you can see here we've put the rear end pretty much back on at the minute. Just got to finish that, tidy that up, and find a set of wheels for it. We've got some mini lights over here, but unfortunately the studs are just not long enough to get these on. These are just to keep it rolling, obviously. These are the front struts that are going on it. At the minute I'm just in the process of changing over this TCA arm, because we've got some adjustable TCAs. We might as well put it all on while it's there. So if you look over here, we've got this cross member with adjustable TCAs that are going to be going in it. You see it's an uprated cross member as well. Nice strong one. So yeah, obviously all these are rally parts, race parts. They're all going back on there. We might as well just put it on in one go, get the car rolling. Onto this Mk1, you can see here we've got a lot of progress done on this front bulkhead setup. It's amazing when you put on some panels how much complete it looks. I know obviously there's a load of work to be done. You can see it's all been chopped out there, and they're the brand new panels that are going to go on it. So all that rust and all that crap that was on it is all going to be gone. So you can see you can get nice panels for these cars, which makes it a lot easier. The Mk1, Mk2 Escort, you can even buy whole shells now, and all these panels we've got in here to go on it as well. So loads and loads of stuff going on at the minute, just trying to go from one car to another. I'll show you another car quickly that's out here. So we've got this Volvo at the minute. So this Volvo is going to have a big turbo setup on it, HX35 built engine. At the minute it's just not complete, but you can see it's got like a standalone ECU, braided loom, etc., and that's going to be getting built up in the next couple of weeks. So there's a ton going on. I'm just going to keep going through them. If you want to watch them progress of any of these cars, you better stay tuned, you better subscribe. So just got to get this thing rolling now, one of the most important parts. So obviously this car is just a pure race car, so we're going to satin black the whole engine bay and put the engine in and the running gear in. Obviously I know it looks rough, but you know it is a race car, and the patina the patina of the car you can't get. It takes years and years and years and years to get that patina on the car. So this is an Alan Mann tribute looking car. Trying to find out the history of the car already, can't really find it at the minute. Hopefully someone knows that's watching this, if they've seen this car rallying or racing before, let me know in the comment section. It'd be really handy. So we've got a bit of American muscle going on here. We've got some big old V8 engine in here. You know, a lot of people are into this sort of thing. These are fiberglass bodies. You can see it's having a little bit of a repair done at the minute to it. So what do you think of this old Volvo then? It's very I've not seen many of these on the road. It's actually a really cool car. So you can see it's obviously on Yokohama 88Rs, Bowler wheels, like a retro rally look wheel. Bowler do, they're actually quite a nice style wheel. So I just spent an age cleaning this compressor housing up. It's come up actually really nice. You see the state of it before, it was absolutely mank. I thought it was going to be destroyed. We've got some Aerocrip nuts as well for the manifold, got them for the these are M10 in 1.5, and we've got some M8s as well for the actual manifold itself. So you can see they're all studded now. Get that compressor cover on. So after what seemed an eternity trying to get all the studs and fittings correct, you see all the manifold studs, everything's done, locking nuts on the elbows, everything was incorrect, so I had to re-stud everything, put new studs in, nuts, tap things out. Obviously I had to tap the elbow out, I had to tap the exhaust housing out for these studs, so we've got studs instead of bolts now. We've got these lovely locking nuts in here now, so they ain't never going to come undone. The OEM setups are never the tidiest looking setup, but this will give us a bit more extra boost over the hybrid setup. As you can see here, I'm going backwards and forwards from cars, so you can see the car's down on the wheels now. You see it's on RS2000 wheels. Obviously it's not lowered or anything. You've got the grille, put the grille in there, headlights, trying to get on with everything, trying to get this thing back together. I'm going to try and get the engine in tonight, so that'd be good. You see the engine bay's all been painted in satin black, and makes it look a million times better, just cleaned up. As you say, it's just going to be a patina car, just have its race heritage. You can see, just going to leave it all, you know, in the Alan Mann colours. I just love the way it looks at the minute. I know it's a little bit tatty, but it's a race car. That's exactly what they're supposed to be. Right, you can see that the Mk1 Escort is down on all four wheels now. So just stuck some RS2000 wheels on the front, and you've got some deep dish wheels on the back. You can see you've painted the engine bay satin black, which makes it look a lot cleaner than it did. And you can see here where all the stitch welding's been done, because it obviously was a race and rally car. So it's all properly done. I'm just going to put a cage in it as well, and you can see it's just got that patina look about it, which is the Alan Mann colours. and you can see it's been raced, which I think that's what makes it look really good. Got the front grille and headlights in it now as well. We're going to try and slap the engine in tonight. We're going to put the Cosy engine in it, the NA engine. Got some engine mounts. See the cross members in, the steering rack's all in. Obviously it's hard to film both cars at the minute, so I'm trying to get updates on them. So you've got the deep dish wheels on the back. Obviously it's going to be lowered, and we're just testing out this fuel cell at the minute. So we've got the bracket, or the floor that goes in for the Escort, fits in there spot on, and it still allows for the spare wheel. Obviously the rally cars have to run, and then you've got the fuel cell in there. So getting there, trying to get on with the bits, happening fast because obviously the show's coming up at the end of May. So we're going to slap it together. Well, that turbo kit has took a lot longer than it should have done to get sorted out. So these manifold studs and bolts and everything, basically there was no way at all of getting the stud and nut on the back of here. It was just touching the manifold. There was no way of getting in there with a spanner. Couldn't turn that nut at all, so we had to go with a lock-in, some high temperature sealant. So that's done now. That's never going to come apart. Right, so onto the other side of it. While we've got this manifold off, got this Z-Tech breather system in here. It's just been bodged up over the years. You can see the heat shield's been bent apart. Put it back on, but then decided, you know, got to do this properly, got to do everything properly. So I went out and bought an actual dedicated breather that you can have an AN fitting or an M18 fitting in there that's going to sit and replace that whole unit. So when I unbolt this, you'll see, obviously I just bolted that back on. That sits behind there against the block, and it's giving me a lot more clearance for this breather system, and then we can use proper stainless fittings, go round the manifold, go have no problems in the future. So let's unbolt that breather system quickly and we can show you what it looks like. So this is all the crap system, the breather system that comes standard. You can see here just a proper mess. So this is what it's going to look like with this next breather system on it. You can see we're actually going to have a banjo fitting on there, and you can rotate this sort of any way you want. So that's how the breather system mounting plate's going to sit. So you can see it sits off to the right side, so we've got a nice load of clearance here with a pipe around the right hand side. It's just the M18 by 1.5. So this turbo manifold has been an absolute bum of a job. So I've had to take out all the manifold studs to get this in, because it just does not clear this slam panel. Right, so the turbo manifold is finally on, and it's been off and on the car about 10 times now because I've had to adjust so much stuff. There's just no clearance here. You can see, look how tight this actuator is to the actual gearbox. I've had to modify the bracket, twist it, twist the exhaust housing, twist the inlet housing, the actuator, just to get it all to line up. I've had to take the studs out of the actual head itself. You can see there all the studs are out the head. I've had to take the thermostat housing off so I can get in from this right hand side. There's just no clearance. Look how close it is to this slam panel. There's just no clearance here at all. It's not a great design manifold. You can see how much it pulls it away from the head, and there's just no room anywhere. But we're on the final stretch now. Well, there we go, the turbo's finally bolted on. You can see I've restudied the whole head, and you can see the sort of clearance issues we're having here. You know, there's just absolutely no room. Trying to get these manifolds on with the tubular manifolds is actually quite difficult. Loads of modifications needed. You can see all the studs have been modified, but we've got aero grip nuts on there now, and stainless washers as well. So it's all done properly. It's never going to have to come back off again. Just got to get the rest of this back together now. Just got the oil draining out of there quickly. Get a new fresh oil in there, fresh filter on to give it a start up. It's got all the downpipe and everything on, lambda sensor on, everything under here is done other than the oil change. Right, so with a fresh filter, it's pretty difficult to actually pre-prime it fully because it sits on the side of the block like that, and if I pre-primed it and filled it up, it's just going to all pour out as soon as I start to put the oil filter on. So what I'll do is I just saturate the actual filter element in there. I lubricate this top seal, and then I'll prime the engine over and get oil pressure into the actual filter before I get it started, so the actual filter is filled up with oil and the engine don't run dry. So we're pretty much buttoned up now. As you can see here, I made up this boost hose on this right hand side because the existing hose that was on it was split. It was sitting up against the manifold like that, and it literally burnt a hole in it. So I've made this one up, this solid pipe, so it's got a load of clearance there, and it's not going to have no problems with it actually burning away again. So that looks pretty tidy. It's going to be a temporary one, but you know, it'll do for now. So you can see everything's buttoned up. Literally just got to put the battery in, all the vacuum lines, everything's sorted out over this side. So I'm going to get some fuel pressure, turn it over, get some oil pressure. Well, she just turned it over. You see, you've got oil pressure to the head now. Got loads of oil in the head, so we know that the oil's getting to the head. Also, inside here, well, as you just heard, it is finally running, and the car has fought me all the way, but it's never going to win. No leaks anywhere. Car is sounding mint. Going to get a couple of driving clips for you. Obviously, it's very untidy for my OCD at the minute, but it will be tidied up, I promise you. So thanks for watching the episode, getting to the end. There she sits, ready for bodywork to be done next, as you see. Bit of bodywork to be done. Running absolutely sweet now. Just going to get a new MAF sensor for it, because it's got a little bit of a splutter when we unplugged the MAF sensor. That totally went away. And it's sort of the same as with these headlets. Sort of you can run it off of different sensors just to diagnose some things. Didn't throw up any EML codes as well. So as you can see, the car needs a proper wash and get to sorting this bodywork out. So thanks for watching the episode, getting to the end. If you did, I appreciate it.